Hello there everybody, how's it going and how have you been? Welcome back to SpaceChem. In the prior episode, we both finished the level that I showed off but did not actually try to solve in the episode before that. But then we only got about halfway through the next level. This is what it looks like. It's kind of a jumbled mess. I will go ahead and explain how this works. Probably in just a moment, just for anybody who skipped the prior episode for whatever reason. However, I've been doing a little bit of thinking, and I realized that if the puzzles are getting this complex already, I don't want to keep doing just 1 or 1.5 levels per episode. So what I think I will do is I will look at the level and think about it a bit. I will try and explain the idea I've come up with to solve said level, but then if it seems like it's going to be taking a while, I will go ahead and speed up the footage between the end of my explanation and when I've got it all built and running, and I will just go ahead and explain things as it runs once I know that it's complete. So, just to recap, we've got nitrogen gas and oxygen gas coming out of this pump, and we have water and sodium chloride, or salt, coming out of the oceanic pump. Now, we don't need the chlorine, so that's automatically going up to the recycler. Hang on. Basically, what we need out of the oceanic pump is just 1 hydrogen atom and 1 sodium atom. So all that it does is exactly that. It pops off whatever atom I need, be it the sodium or the hydrogen, both of which would be on this square, throws the rest of the molecule away, and then sends that atom forward to this reactor, which hasn't been built yet because I want to finish the other half. Now, up here, what I was planning to do before I ran a bit tight on time was try to combine the nitrogen and the oxygen to make this sort of big NO3 part of the molecule. And then all I have to do is just shuttle that thing into here, attach whatever comes from the oceanic pump to it, check to see what it is, and send it out the appropriate output. Again, I stopped there because I was starting to run long on time and I was getting very short on answers and solutions. So, this is probably going to be an experimentation episode. I'm going to stop commentating here. I am going to speed up the footage as I complete the rest of the solution, and we'll be back for, how about the first test run? That should work pretty well. Okay guys, I'm back. I want to quickly apologize in case you heard any kind of clacking. I'm not sure how quiet this microphone's mute button is, but I think I got it working. So how about I start from the beginning? What this really crazy complicated loop will do, which you might have seen me quickly bug test really quick during the time-lapse, is basically, and I kind of explained this at the beginning of the last episode, or not the beginning of the last episode, the end of the last episode. Red will start by calling in whatever is first to Alpha, and then he and Blue will bounce back and forth in this loop. Hang on, let me try that again. Red starts everything off by calling in from Alpha immediately, and then he enters his own little kind of stasis loop, we'll call it. If what showed up is an oxygen gas, Blue gets to leave because the molecule will be sitting on top of the sensor. So Blue will get to leave, he will pick it up, take it down here where he breaks it apart into separate atoms, and then sends them out one at a time. And then he will call in the next molecule, come back up into his loop, and again, if it's an oxygen, he will go forward. If it's nitrogen that shows up, however, Red will go ahead and pick it up, take it over here, break all three bonds, and then send them both out at the same time. And actually that reminds me to add a quick tweak to the note. Now, again, I explained this at the end of the prior episode, but there's a little quirk about the output commands. If something is still left on the output that can leave, the Waldo will sit there for one additional cycle and send that out. And so basically, kind of like how a Waldo will sit on the input commands for however long it takes for something to show up. They will sit on their output command for however long it takes for the zone to get cleared out. And that can include if a pipe is blocked or if there's just multiple things to throw out. Now this does introduce just a little bit of randomness, or a variation I should say, to the next reactor, but actually, as I explain this, that does help me fix another possible bug. This should solve it. So Red will call in a nitrogen atom, which can either appear on this square or this square. He will go forward, pick it up if it's here, pick it up if it's here. Either way, he will just follow his track. Now here's where things get kind of complicated. He will call in an oxygen atom, attach one bond to it, spin it 180 degrees, and put it back down here. Then he will call in another oxygen atom, turn Blue on, and then wait. What Blue will do is he will pick up the NO pair, pull it forward into position, and put it down. Grab the second oxygen that Red called in, move forward, call in the third oxygen we need to make this NO3 molecule, connect all three pieces, which will put a single bond between these two oxygens and the nitrogen, and reinforce this one into a double bond. Then he'll carry the whole big thing over here into Omega and send it out. And then I need another sync command to turn Red back on. Actually glad that I am going through and explaining things, because that's helping me catch stuff that I forgot. Now in here, if the other two reactors work, which I'm honestly not sure if they will, Red will call in the NO3, grab it by the nitrogen, come down here and wait. Blue will call in whatever comes out of the ocean reactor, grab onto it, and come right to the spot relative to the NO3 that it has to attach to. They will move forward, Blue will attach his atom, let go of the whole thing so that Red can go ahead and sort it and send it to the appropriate freighter, and then return to a start. or actually just loop back around and get ready because red will never bump into him. And then over here, again, relative to where he's holding on to, the nitrogen atom, he will have the sensor check, red will. If it is hydrogen, he will just keep going forward, put it down, send it out. If it is sodium, he will go down this way, put it down, and send it out. So, let's see whether or not my first solution built under time-lapse will work or not. I did test this reactor, in the prior episode, so I know it works. So let's watch from here. I know... Yeah, I did watch this guy just in a quick bug test, and I'm pretty sure he will work. Yeah. Okay, so it's handling both gases correctly. Now, yeah, red grabbed the nitrogen, he attached the first oxygen, put it down. Blue is waiting. And there we go, there's our first NO3. And whenever it shows up over here, yes! Oh, it works. At least for right now. The main problem I see with this design, which may shut everything down and warrant a second time lapse on the same level, is if this pipe backs up with too much nitrogen, like basically if too much nitrogen comes in at once, there's not going to be enough oxygen to pair up with it. So I'm just a little worried that things might get backed up and clogged, but let's go ahead and hit speed 3 and see how it works. It's going pretty well, actually. Yeah, actually it's running remarkably smoothly. I'm a little bit surprised. Alright, big test, speed 4. And... Hey! My first time-lapse was a success! Awesome! How in the world do you do this in only 2 reactors? The only thing I can think is that you put the NO3 together in one reactor and then send it immediately down to where the stuff from the ocean is coming in. Good lord, that must be crazy complicated. Alright. We have our... Oh, I think I thought the bonus level was down here, but apparently that's where our defense level is. So, again, because the defense levels will immediately send us forward to the next planet, we can back up, but I'd rather finish everything there is to do on our current planet before we head forward. Let's go ahead and go into this level, going green. Oh, hello. We have a giant thermoelectric plant, which emits carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide. So we've got a 2-to-1 ratio of CO2 and H2S. And we basically have to just send the carbon down here, which should be simple enough, and put the rest of it together into sulfuric acid. Okay. Well, fortunately, just kind of comparing what's on the outputs to what's on the input, I don't need a not a reactor, I need reactors. I don't need a recycler, which should be obvious because the game didn't give us one. But the 2 hydrogens on the sulfuric acid are already attached to the sulfur. And we're getting an even number of oxygens. And in fact, it's at the same multiple. So basically we'll get, again, averaged out, we will get 4 oxygen atoms for every 1 sulfur, which is exactly what we need over here. And then it's just a simple matter of sending the carbon off on its own. Okay. one of the annoying matters is this little group of trees right here. It's not going to be too bad, it's just I can't really plug a reactor directly onto the thermoelectric plant. Let's just... Can I put you right here? Yes, I can. Okay. I think I want my first reactor to split the carbon dioxide and the hydrogen sulfide. The only question is, how do I want to handle things from there? I'm going to need another reactor down here that extracts the carbon from the CO2 and loads it into this freighter and sends it off. And I'm going to need... I don't think there's enough bonders in one reactor. Actually, can I do something kind of clever? Can I, like... Yeah, so I'll send the hydrogen sulfide up this way, so let me write that down really quick. Hydrogen sulfide, let me just nudge it down a little bit just to make it a little bit easier. And then the CO2 goes down here. Can I do it in just 3 reactors? Let me look up really quick. How many... Sulfur only wants to make 6 bonds. Okay, so... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Okay, yeah, so that's the maximum amount of bonds it can have. I think I could probably do it in 3 reactors, but I want to add a 4th just to make things a little bit easier. I'm going to hook up here, and what I want to do is say oxygen just like that. And yes, I do want them separated like this with a gap in the middle, and you will see why. Nope, this guy's notes. I want the sulfur to come along this way, down here into this guy. And then out of this big this kind of 4th reactor, I want to send this SO4 thing back up into here. And then, alright. So, that's the basic idea. Carbon dioxide will come down here. I will detach the carbon from the oxygens and send them with 1 space apart in pairs up to here. Carbon will just get thrown into the freighter and, you know, taken care of. Hydrogen sulfide. In this reactor, I will break the sulfur away from the hydrogens and throw it down here. This reactor will attach it to 4 oxygen atoms, which will then send it back into this reactor. where it will be attached to the hydrogens and sent into its cargo freighter. So, with all of that, I'm going to go ahead and go into another time lapse. I will see you guys at the end of that when I believe I have the solution built. And we'll just see how well this technique works, shall we? Okay guys, we're back. I think I've got the level worked out. I haven't tested it, as you probably noticed, but how about I give you guys a quick walkthrough before I try and run it. Nothing special here. All this does is just sort the hydrogen sulfide and the carbon dioxide. Easy peasy. Over here, all this does is basically red picks up the carbon dioxide, comes over here. He and blue work together to cut all the bonds all at once. And then when he carries the carbon to send it off to the freighter, blue outputs all the oxygen. Now, meanwhile, up here, blue will pick up the hydrogen sulfide, pop off one of the hydrogens, rotate the molecule, and cut away the other hydrogens. So they will both be sitting right here. And then he will send the sulfur out to this reactor. Here's where things get a little strange, and I just noticed again, I forgot to put down a command. In here, red picks up the sulfur, calls in 2 oxygens because these guys will be sent as separate units down the pipe. He will turn blue on, and together they will double bond the sulfur to both oxygen atoms. Then they come over here, red will put it down while blue simultaneously picks it up. He will spin it 90 degrees, so we have this middle part of the SO4. He goes up in extra space just to make sure that he clears the bonders, where the oxygens will reappear. Call in the next 2, come down, give them both a single bond, and then carry it off to the output. And really quick, I'm going to tweak this ever so slightly just to shorten his loop and make things run just a tiny bit faster. I don't really need to replace the note, but I want to. And then let's just remove the upper note because we're not going to be using the upper output. We are instead going to be using the omega output, which should run a little bit faster overall. But anyway, so the SO4 will come out of here, come back into this reactor where we still have the 2 hydrogens waiting. Red will call it in, pick it up, come down here, slot ever so neatly right between them and connect them to both of the single bonded oxygens simultaneously, and then just carry it off to the output zone and send it out. And I just realized Red does not have any sync commands holding him in place. Yeah, you know what? He can start Blue right away. Blue, he's going to be long gone by the time Blue comes around, so... Okay. That was the explanation for the time-lapse in this level. Let's watch it one reactor at a time just to make sure it works. So we have a hydrogen sulfide first. And he spins it just to give the next reactor in line a little bit of a helping hand. We have the CO2, which should go this way. Now we can see the remnants. We can see that Blue must have spun it, and in fact, just to make sure and actually shut that off a little bit. Yep, there we go. So the sulfur is now weeding over here. Down here, which will take the carbon dioxide a little bit. There. Oxygens are cut and sent away. Now, this is the reactor I'm a little worried about. And for good reason, as I forgot to tell Red to wait for Blue to confirm that he has put the SO4 molecule together. Okay. Speed 3, just to get back to where we were. And... there we go. Now finally up here. Red slots it in perfectly, and it delivers. Wrong button. There we go. So, not bad. Hopefully those time-lapse experimentations look pretty good. I did stay quiet just so that you wouldn't hear any kind of weird distorted voice, you just hear the music. I will be trying to rig things up so that while the video runs faster, the music will not play faster, because the music in this game is pretty good. So, considering that it seems to be working okay, and I honestly have no idea how long this video is going to be, because, well, part of the timer doesn't really count, because that's going to be sped up and going faster than it would appear to be. So let's just go ahead and hit speed 4 and let the solution finish. Pardon me as I snort. And there we go. We got another challenge finished. We completed Alkanost's bonus level. And now, all we have left is the boss, which I will get to in the next episode. And I think for the boss, I will probably play him at normal speed. Unless it's really complicated, which I don't think the second boss is. I'm probably just gonna let the whole video go at normal speed, no speed ups, no time lapse, however you want to call them. And he will probably take up his own episode. So, with that in mind, and my fingers crossed that this experiment is going to be a success, thank you all so much for watching. If you like the time-lapse, if you want me to try and do something a bit differently with them in the future, because I think I'm going to keep doing time-lapses for the rest of the game, just probably the production levels at least, just because there's so many little things I have to do. But if I seem to be doing something wrong, if you want them to go a little bit slower, a little bit faster, whatever, go ahead and leave your suggestions in the comments down below. And thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, hope you had a great time, and I hope you all have a great day. I will see you all in the next episode, and farewell for now.